Here we go.
Guys, welcome back to the Physique Factory Podcast. And tonight we're going to be looking into the abuse that we've been getting online.
Please help us. We're getting abuse. I had to laugh at the last one I got. Like if anyone's seen my Instagram stories today, like I'd done a little breakdown on it. But the guy that sent the abuse, and I didn't want to get into this. I didn't want to be that guy, right? But wait a minute, let me grab it up here. I think I sent it to you, James, actually, didn't I?
Was this on Instagram?
Yeah. Well, it was on TikTok actually.
Brett? Was it Brett?
No, it wasn't Brett. No, poor old Brett. It was Theo from TikTok, and he told me that I need to do my research because of one of my videos on the lats. But anyway, forget what it's about, right? I went onto his page and had a little look at him. He's like, Theo, training since the 14th of the 11th, 21, squat 120, bench 80, deadlift 160. And you know, if I was a little bit less mature, I would have replied saying, listen, Theo, shove your fucking 80 kilo bench up your arse and come back to you when you can actually bench 2 plates aside. But I didn't. I refrained from it. I kind of held myself back and I was mature about the situation.
He's the optimal crew, isn't he?
I don't know what he is, to be honest. He's only got like 3 posts and one of them's a sumo deadlift. So again, sketchy. Someone that's
one of them was when he sent me his profile. One of them was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or something like that. Yeah. That says it all. What a fucking cunt.
I won't judge his clothing. I won't judge his clothing, but I will judge his sumo deadlift. I judge that quite a lot. But yeah, we've been getting it harsh recently. I don't know. We're pushing buttons, which is probably a good thing.
That's it. I got banned from TikTok as well for responding. So
yeah, let's dive into that. So let's see what that was. That's what we.
Yeah, I can't get on
talk about
my
today.
profile anymore. So if you can jump on there and see if it's there.
Yeah, right. I better turn this down before some video starts. Chicago Town Pizza. There's ads on TikTok nowadays as well, which is crazy. Right, so, where are we? So, you're one of the only people I follow on TikTok. I follow 5 people. Yeah, it still sends me loads of random shit, to be fair. Right, JT Physique.
It's a cesspool of shit.
Which, look at that, JT Physique as well. He's not even calling himself Physique Factory. What is that all about? It's going back to his old name. What video was it on, James? It was the shoulder press one, wasn't it?
Oh, it's the one where I said, don't do these for exercises, else you're going to lose muscle. That was a joke. People take things too literal. I swear it's full of autistic people on social media.
Here are three of the worst exercises in the gym, and you should never do them if you want to build muscle. Right. So, and let's put a bit of context. So on the video, what are you talking about, James? Can you remember?
So the unstable exercises, we've got an overhead press on there, aren't we, standing up with a barbell?
Yeah.
Just you got to think about it. If we sat down doing the exercise, we'd be able to lift a shitload more because we're increasing stability. If we're standing up, we're relying on things like your erectors, muscles around the hip, just to keep you stable to press. So there's more juggle going on there than what we would be seated. So that way we can load it up a little bit more, increase more mechanical tension on the actual muscle that we use, such as like the delts, upper chest, that kind of thing. Just because what's the goal at the end of the day? Do we want to grow muscle?
That was an interesting thing you said there, the delts or the chest, because think about it, right? Would you ever do an incline like bench press without the bench?
Exactly.
Like, would you ever do a flat bench press lying on a fucking trampoline? Maybe during the lockdown, maybe. Like, that's an exception, but like
you'd be seeing that next. Someone was standing on one of those Bosu ball things trying to do it.
They'd be lying on it, so there's no stability for the shoulders. But like, yeah, like you say, like I always use that. I think again, most of the shit that I say has probably come from Tom Purvis at some point. But you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe, and that's the one way to say it. Like you're gonna get more force production in a stable environment with less juggle, like you say. So that's kind of that's the gist of the video. There's a couple other exercises. What did you go on to? The single arm pull down thing, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. Again, kneeling, you haven't got no restraint on your knee. So when you got to think about it, if we're using a normal pull down, one of those cable things, and it's got the pads are on your knee, we're going to be able to lift a lot more using that than we would do kneeling down. Just because what's the weight? What's my weight? 100 kilograms. If I went above 100 kilograms and tried to do a pull down, I'd literally start pulling myself up because I haven't got the restraint to pull myself down. So with that restraint, it can lift a little bit more, and that's why it's a much better exercise for growing muscle and getting stronger than a single arm pull down because it's so limited.
Going back to one of the RTS videos, they talk about becoming a immovable object.
Mm.
That's And you're definitely not. When you're in that kneeling position, you're not an immovable object. You're actually a fairly easily movable object. You've got a kettlebell swing in there as well, James. You fucking love a kettlebell swing.
I don't even have to go into that one, do I?
It's a video of James
You're
doing
trying to
it
build
as well.
muscle and you're doing a kettlebell swing. You're a cunt. That's it.
It's very direct, James. I like it. But right, so Tyler Mansell comes on, and he says, "Don't tell people that overhead press and kneel and pull down won't build muscle because they're on par with most other exercises if done right. Your preference." And listen to this, James's reply. Got loads of muscle, have you, mate? They're not on par with other exercises as they lack in stability. With that, you'll struggle to load. To be fair, I think that's actually you've covered that there. But then someone comes back, the Jack Joker comes back and said, "I've never struggled to load my overhead press. I understand your point about stability, but you're still capable of pushing weight with strict form." I mean, the obvious reply to
That's
that
a fair comment. I'm not gonna. That is a fair comment, but you can load it to a certain degree, but they're totally not understanding that you could. You're going to gain more muscle. You definitely gain more muscle because you're lifting more load in a stable environment. There's less struggle.
It's not even. I don't suppose it's even necessarily about lifting more load, but it's about more tension placed on the muscle.
Yeah, that's it. You're creating more mechanical tension, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the simple answer to that is, well, if I sit down and overhead press, I can do more weight on that than I can standing.
Yeah,
that
was a fair question though. Comment. It wasn't a dickheady one. So
yeah.
Fair enough. I'll give it to that.
To be fair, like,
that.
I'm all for discussions. Like I definitely like getting into discussions about stuff. But like,
if people can have a fucking normal discussion without being an absolute child, then that's fine.
They just
because everyone's a fucking idiot on social media. They're full of absolutes, right and wrongs, good and bads. Yeah.
And to be fair though, there's something in me that enjoys it. See, when I get a comment like that, I'm like, yes, brilliant, can't wait.
Same. And then you try rinsing them, and then you try showing them all you give them all the variables, put them on the table, and you go for each one and say, right, this is that, this is whatever, this is the case for this, and they still don't have it. But no, this influencer does this, or this fucking idiot bodybuilder's done that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, like people.
Or even better, that fucking cunt who messaged you, that study. So that study was by one of my lecturers when I went to uni and I did S&C. So he's actually like a quite smart guy and he's really, really high up in like the S&C world. But again, studies and research don't mean shit, do they? EMGs. When you're saying things about EMGs, for example, if we're doing like a bench press, the EMG for our delts.
Before you go further, James.
Stabilizing the joint.
Before you go further, what is an EMG for people that don't know?
Electromagnetic.
It's electromyo something. I forget what the fucking name is as well. To be fair, but
yeah,
like not even so much. Not even so much. It should be on here because I'm just getting started.
That's a myo something.
Yeah, EMG is what? Electromyography.
Electromyography, right? Interesting.
Yeah. But
what was electromagnetic something? Nearly.
Yeah, electromyography. Yeah. But anyway, everyone just calls it EMG. This is why. Yeah, but yeah, I suppose for those who don't know, I mean, what is that, James?
So it shows the actual how hard the brain's working to send a signal to that muscle. And when we're doing a bench press, what's the main muscle that's going to be using? It's going to be like the pecs and maybe front delts. But there's also a shitload of muscles around that joint working to stabilize that joint and hold it in its place. So we've got to look at like the antagonists, which would be things like the rear delts for that. So the potential for the EMG ratings for that muscle will be got to be as high what it could be for the pecs. It's literally just thinking as well. So if you really squeeze your like glutes or your biceps or something like that, then the EMG is probably going to go up. But does it mean that you're exposed to a shitload of tension in terms of like mechanical load?
Tension, yeah.
Probably not.
The interesting thing about that study that this guy sent over, right, is if you actually read the study, which I don't think he did, because throughout the comments he said, "Oh, you should go watch this guy. He's far more experienced than you and knows way more." So I had a look at his page, and he done a thing about lat pull down and quoted that study. So he's obviously just seen that guy post it and send that study, and he's like, "Oh well, so and so." I forget what the guy's name was. I'll look at it in a minute. But so and so said that was right, so it must be right. He's obviously never read the study, because actually, if you read the study, under practical application, can't even say the fucking word, says it suggested when training the latissimus dorsi, using the lat pull downs, a pronated grip can be used, or rotating handles can be used if available during pull-ups. A supinated grip during pull-ups tends to result in increased biceps, blah blah blah. That actually doesn't even matter. I don't know why I'm reading that.
But what is the moment arm to the actual elbow?
But at the bottom, further research is required to clarify the effect of grip width on muscle activity in the lat pull downs. So maybe if you
look at it completely the wrong, look at it completely the wrong thing in that research. They need to look at the actual mechanical influences on the joints, which they're not. Obviously, just looking at EMG says this. Why does everyone fucking bum EMG?
It's cool, to be fair. Like, I understand the appeal; it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's
it's good in some ways. But if you look into things, what's working and what's not, I don't think it's the best thing to go off. Light sensation, not the best.
But it's just, I suppose it's one of those things. Like, the guy obviously, he doesn't know anything about biomechanics. So, like, what you don't know, you don't know. And until someone points it out to you, to be fair, that's it. But like in that video, so to give a bit of background on this, I said that the lats are more efficient in a neutral grip when your arms aren't completely overhead, which is completely true. And the reason that is completely true is because physics exists. But like, I broke it down on my stories today, and basically, I put the balloon, not the balloon, I actually used a band on a skeleton, and I drew on the moment arm, right? So the moment arm, that fucking word again that everyone fucking loves. But basically, the moment arm is some part of what produces the torque production, or we can figure out the torque with a moment arm, because torque is force times moment arm. This is sounding very, very difficult. I understand that, but
physics class.
but torque is basically rotational efficiency, isn't it? So when we're looking at it with a muscle, it's the muscle's ability to create rotation, and that is what muscles are doing generally, creating rotation around about a joint. So the moment arm is what kind of dictates, the internal moment arm is what dictates that muscle's efficiency. So by simply putting the stuff in the skeleton and playing around with this, we can actually get an idea of what this might look like. Now, it's going to look different person to person, because everyone's structure is different, everyone's arm length's different. Your insertion might be slightly further away than mine, or slightly closer than mine. But generally speaking, we can say with certainty that there is going to be more force production, or more efficiency, for the lat in that position. I feel like
it's not necessarily force, it's the effectiveness of that force, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, going back to uni when I was there, there's fucking wrong again. They said it was a turning force, which is completely wrong.
I feel like I've just talked a lot there and made that sound very, very complicated. It's hard to.
How we respond to people on social media when they confront us with bullshit. So that's how common is it. Anyway, I just call them a cunt.
But so I've just waffled on all that shit, and I've spent about like 5 or 6 different Instagram stories talking about it. But on TikTok, there's like a character limit, and you can only type like 2 fucking sentences. So it's very hard to respond to this stuff on TikTok in particular.
Isn't that? Joe Bennett said the same thing with that. It says on Instagram, it's not too bad because you can have longer replies. But on TikTok, you can only respond so much. And that's why it's fucking so shit. I hate that platform.
Yeah, it is. And that's where you get the most abuse. People seem to like abusing you on that. But to be fair, like, I mean, the thing is, like, it gets you thinking about it, and in the long run, it's going to make you smarter. People like me and you are actually going to go away and, you know, ask ourselves questions about what we're doing, or ask questions about what other people are saying. Like, it gets you thinking. So I can
see why Tom Purvis has come off social media.
Yeah, you can see why he's not on it. He would not be too impressed.
He would explode. That's why he's come off it, because of the amount of shit that he's seen.
But I mean, why does this happen though? Like, why do you think people are against these sort of ideas? Why do you think they get so triggered that they feel the need to comment on things and say, "Oh, you're spreading misinformation," or "Do your research"?
Because they don't understand, and because they've seen someone who they highly respect, and they're just backing them up because they're part of a team, or they follow someone, they're one of those followers, in terms of a religion, if you know what I mean. Again, it influences people. They think there's some sort of fucking cult, and they've gone following someone because someone said this, and then, yeah, that's got to be right because they don't know.
Yeah, because they're on the team. They're on team, I don't know, say it's, this is a fucking terrible example, but Branch Warren, say it's Team Branch Warren. It's not actually a terrible example. It's a good one. Branch Warren, if anyone's seen his training, the guy doesn't give a fuck for form, or the guy does not give a fuck for moment arms. Let's put that out there. Branch Warren does not care about moment arms one bit. But Branch Warren's huge. And he's very, very good bodybuilder, and he got there doing it his way. And yeah, I suppose people see that and they're like, well, if Branch Warren does that, that must be right. And it gets back to that thing, like, don't copy your favorite bodybuilder because it's not necessarily going to work for you. It's like saying fucking Lionel Messi, right? If Lionel Messi trains, I don't know, football every single day and he does whatever routine, right? If I done the same training routine as Lionel Messi, I would not be as good as Lionel Messi.
Exactly. It's just that's talent and genetics.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I suppose, again, it's find the system that works for you, I would say as well.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff you can't argue with. You can't argue with physics and anatomy. There's no arguing with that.
Exactly. You can't. Yeah, it's just I'm going to make a top or a t-shirt for that. Don't let physics hurt your feelings.
You can't argue with physics, yeah, because there's an emotional connection to exercises too. Like, and I get it, like, because I think bodybuilding gives off these hardcore vibes, and there is a lot of like these guys, oh, we're in the fucking dungeons, you know, we're in the pits, we're going to war at the gym, and it's like
it was like we're in the fucking trenches. I was like, you're not in a trench, you're not in the fucking Normandy or whatever, you're not in World War II, you're at home, sat up with your feet fucking on the couch playing FIFA. You're literally 4 weeks out from getting on stage. You're lucky to be doing that in the first place. So
you're in a gym that's air conditioned with state of the art equipment.
Exactly. And you're eating 6 times a day. You might be in a deficit. You might be doing some cardio. You're not in the fucking trenches.
Hood up in the gym, headphones on over the hood. Yeah.
This is why I'm a bodybuilder who hates bodybuilding. No, I'm a bodybuilder who hates bodybuilders. Yeah, I'd say that. I don't really hate them. They're just full of shit. But
I'm all for, like, you know, whatever gets you in the zone. Like, if you want to go in the gym and scream and shout and, you know, wear baggy clothes and shit like that, fucking cool.
But to be fair, when you are doing legs, you need to let a bit out, don't you?
Yeah. It's, you know what, like, we're getting onto a total different subject, but like the whole like grunting in the gym thing, it's good if, like, it's not good, but it's like it's okay if it's legit. You know what I mean? If someone's doing a tough set and they give out a little, a wee bark or something, you know
what? It doesn't help you focus. You're just thinking about moving the weight, aren't you? And that's how my knees got fucked up. I was literally going for it,
screaming too hard, and his knees fell off,
moving shit. And yeah, I think that's why my knees got fucked up, because I wasn't actually focusing on the set and what I needed to do.
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, as I say, like, if someone's going in and making noise for the sake of making noise and doing it for attention, that's when I don't like it. But if they're doing it because they are genuinely psyching themselves up and they're training hard and they're not really worried about who's around them, then it's fine. But you definitely see people that do it for, oh, look at me. You know what I mean? And yeah, fuck that. Like, it's not what it's about for me. Like, if you're doing bodybuilding and you wouldn't do it, like, if you're doing bodybuilding, would you do it if no one was watching? And if you wouldn't do it if no one was watching, then you should probably get another fucking sport. Fuck that.
Exactly. You need to love and enjoy this shit, don't you?
Yeah. You need to. There's a lot of people that, like, probably train to compete, if that makes sense, rather than compete because they train. Because it's like become a fucking, I don't know, like, get a lot of likes on social media, which you do. If you put up a stage pic, you get like fucking loads of likes, and everyone's like, oh, you looked mental. But yeah, it's not worth it just for some pictures. Like, to be honest, like, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I actually enjoy competing that much, like actually doing the show.
I love show day. Sometimes it gets a bit hard coming up to the prep. I mean, like, you come up to the end of prep, and it's just because those last 4 weeks change completely, because you can't be your normal self at all. Because I'm that fucked. I mean, last time I didn't really get hungry. Obviously, I didn't fucking make it to the show day because I nearly died. That's a different story. I'm not saying that again.
There's actually an episode on that.
Yeah, there was an episode on that, literally. So 4 or 5 weeks out, I wasn't hungry, but it was just so hard to focus and, like, actually, you know, work my brain to work day to day.
Have you ever admitted to being hungry in a prep? Every time I've heard you talk about prep, you're like, oh, I wasn't hungry.
You know what? No, because I was hungry. Like, the first 2 preps I did, I got pretty hungry, and I was expecting it to hit the last prep, and I was just like, it's not happening. This, I was just wondered, and then do you know when he got ill, obviously, and then I came back out the diet or whatever, or dieted down for that photo shoot afterwards. And I was just like, I've got no appetite. I was like, this is mint. It was class.
I am. I'm not even dieting right now, and I'm fucking hungry.
No, I could go in there and smash, literally burger and cakes and all that sort of stuff. I can eat. I can eat, but I haven't got that cravings to just go and fucking, starving, sitting there thinking, oh, fucking hell, I'm hungry. I haven't got that. But if I did have to eat, I could put it away.
Yeah. Where are you at right now with your like competition preps for this year? What's happening with your own physique right now, James?
So I am maintaining for roughly around 4 or 5 weeks.
Stagnation is the enemy.
Yeah. That's it, stagnation. But yeah, I mean, I want to hold my physique around about it. It's just for like recovery and everything. Just because I'm dieting so much and so long this year, and I don't want to put on actual body fat at this point. So there is a stage where maintaining is pretty good. So that I don't want to put on body fat at the moment, but I need enough calories to get me by. So I've increased to like 3.2, which is still like pretty low for me. From like what was down to when I was dieting a couple of weeks ago, like 2.6, 2.7. So I'm at like 3.2, probably work up to 3.5. And then when I get to April, I'm going to really pull it back heavy and hard, do a lot of cardio, increase my output, go on holiday, come back, maintain for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then that's when prep starts. So prep will be starting like start of June, mid June.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'll be in good nick anyway then, so I don't. This is why I don't need to start prep straight away when I get back.
How long will you prep for then?
First show is the 2nd of September.
All right, cool. We're competing about the same time then.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my prep at the end of this month, so I'm actually in a very, very similar situation to you. Right now, it's like kind of main gaining, I want to call it, because I don't want to accept that I'm maintaining. Fuck that. But like, I'm staying about the same body weight, but again, hopefully packing on muscle. Well, I'm not going to pack on that much between now and start prep.
Body weight took a massive jump the last week just because I went on a blast. Well, I was starting a blast. It's just one of those serious things. I am an assisted athlete in terms of taking PEDs. So I started blast,
I started blasting some creatine. It's fucking crazy, mate. Wait, right up. But what day are you competing? It can't be the 1st because that's Friday.
The 2nd and the 3rd. So I'm the Saturday and the Sunday.
So I'm doing the week before, 26th of August.
In Manchester?
Yes, in Manchester.
Yes, I'll be there.
At the castle. What's it called? I forget. The BNBF put it up actually.
Royal Hall of Music or something.
I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me see. The British finals are in Coventry, of all places.
That's a fucking shit place to have them, isn't it? So it's in the middle. Isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's actually a really good venue as well. Because like I don't know about other feds, but I know they go and like see them all and like make sure that they're actually legit. The Contact Theatre in Manchester. Do you know what that is?
Contact Theatre?
Yeah. Contact Theatre. Typing it into Oxford Road. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah. Student place down there.
Shouldn't he? Next to Manchester Academy and McDonald's, which that works out very well. Whitworth Hall. It's very close by. And it looks like a castle from the outside.
I know where that is.
You see it?
Yep, I know what that is.
All right, I'm showing you on the screen, but you've got it up. That's cool.
Oh, right, shit. Yeah, I've got it on my phone.
Same one. But at least people watching on YouTube can see it. So that is where the show will be. Unless I'm really far ahead, there's a Midlands 2 weeks before that, but there's probably no point. Probably as well coming down and doing it like down where you guys are as well, because obviously, you guys are there. So might as well. I've got a wee support there. Hopefully James and Nick and Danny will make it down. Have a supporters club. But don't know how we got into fucking show prep, but I'll be starting the end of this month. I think I'll basically be starting. And that's basically me right through till then. Although I do go on holiday. I go to like Turkey for a week, but the last holiday I went on, I came back leaner. So yeah, we'll do that again.
When was that? I know when you go in Turkey, in fact.
Go to Turkey at the same time you're going to Mexico.
Oh, nice. That's perfect. That's far enough away. That's cool.
Physique Factory is shut for the week.
Yeah, we'll be closed. Do not message us. That's a joke. I'm still working.
Might do a podcast episode from Mexico and Turkey.
Imagine we should do, shouldn't we?
Guys, welcome to the Physique Factory Podcast. We're hosting live from 2 different time zones.
That's it. Physique Factory worldwide.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, like, let's go back to the abuse. Let's carry on with that, because we were talking.
Let's finish it off with that.
Yeah, because what was the other one? It was Brett. We'll give Brett a little shout out. What was it he was on about? Isolation exercises. That's it.
Fucking
yeah.
hell. I didn't understand it when he sent me over. I was like, what's the argument? I couldn't understand what the argument was.
He was arguing with me about something that I wasn't talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was so confused.
It's like he just wanted an argument. So, like, this guy kept going. He commented on one of the things, and then again, I'd done a story, because again, I like using this as an opportunity to, like, you know, speak about it, and like shows other people my thinking as well. And Brett was like, so I said there's no such thing as an isolation exercise, which, I mean, argue with me all you want. It's fucking true. There's no such thing as an isolation exercise. You can't do a bicep curl without some sort of fucking contraction in your core, for example.
You can isolate elbow flexion, but you can't isolate your elbow flexors.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of what he was arguing with me about. He was like, but you can isolate a movement. I'm like, yes, you can, but you can't isolate a muscle. He's like,
exactly.
He's like, no, you're talking bullshit. Do your research. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, Muscle and Fitness said this.
Oh, did he actually say that?
He said something like that. He was like something about, was it Muscle and Fitness or Flex magazine? I've got the messages somewhere. And he's like, oh, you're arguing with every article that's ever been written by bodybuilders. And I'm like, yeah, possibly, maybe.
Bodybuilders are idiots.
I mean, the thing is, just because you look like you know how you train doesn't, I mean, watch Jay Cutler's videos on Facebook. If you think just because someone's a big guy they know what they're talking about, then watch Jay Cutler on Facebook, because you'll quickly realize that is not the truth. I don't know how that man got to where he did. Great bodybuilder, but fuck knows how he got to where he did. Sorry if you watch this, Jay. You were a great bodybuilder.
Yes.
And you're still bigger than me, but some of the fucking advice on Facebook is horrendous. But again, it worked for him, so you can't argue that it worked for him, but it's just maybe the case that it's not going to work for everyone. And I suppose the way we look at things, because we are obviously training other people, we have to consider how this works for...
We need to know this shit. If we're exposing clients to forces, then we need to know this shit.
Yeah, we need to know how it works for every Tom, Dick and Harry, whereas Jay Cutler only had to know how it worked for Jay Cutler.
Exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
Would you like to wrap it up there?
Yeah, we might as well. James is desperate to go to watch some football. His team have won a trophy now, so he's buzzing. It was a good weekend.
In 6 years, so yeah. Hopefully those Glazers are out as well.
It was a good weekend for the good guys last weekend, wasn't it? Celtic and United won a cup at the weekend, so it was a good weekend for the good guys.
You won 2-1, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up with that. Sorry to all the Rangers fans that have listened this long to hear that. Unfortunately, your team's just not as good as mine. Right, thanks again, guys, for listening, and hope you enjoyed that episode tonight.